60 times more than you could tolerate if it was heated.
This treatment is not psychoactive. People don't have to be stoned when they take it. They can take it and go to work. They can take it and play with their kids. It's hard for me to understand laws against something like green leaf therapy and to think that prednisone is legal.
We're still fighting the stigma of marijuana back from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
I was a prosecutor for 8 years in Mendocino County, so I know it from both as a defense attorney and as a prosecutor. The 1972 Controlled Substances Act said that marijuana has no medical value whatsoever.
So the government has a patent on its medical products. The Food Drug Administration has approved it as investigative drug.
I have not found the United States to be very open about cannabis research. In order to print an article in a peer-reviewed journal, you have to use cannabis that they have certified for your study. And there are physicians who've waited 3, 4, 5, 6 years, some even longer than that, to just get a sample.
The federal government's been kind of schizophrenic in the way it looks at marijuana. It says it has no medical value under that act, but at the same time, the federal government has been funding research in marijuana for years, decades, and they've even patented certain strains of marijuana because they recognize it has that medical value. The California Narcotic Officers Association does not believe in medical marijuana. They believe it's all a big scam, and that's how they train law enforcement officers. Law enforcement is allowed to take a percentage of all assets that are forfeited and seized under the state and federal asset forfeiture law. So it takes the really enlightened and compassionate law enforcement officer to recognize that these medical marijuana laws are designed to protect patients.
I was trained when someone had marijuana, you took them to jail. There wasn't a medicine use for marijuana. It's an illegal substance, and people went to jail for it. In 1996, California took a huge leap. I didn't support Proposition 215 because of the education I had, the experience I had, and what I had seen through the illegal marijuana gardens that I had seen throughout my career. Since 1996, I have changed my opinion somewhat. I believe there is a very clear medicinal use for marijuana. That being said, I believe that there are a large percentage of people who use marijuana as an excuse to either make profits or for recreation. The people who use marijuana for the true intended use that the voters pass, medicinal, I'll do everything I can to support their rights. There's many more things that law enforcement can be focused on than medicinal marijuana. And I don't want to get the impression at all that I support people who are growing marijuana for medical purposes 364 days of the year, and then one day a year they make a big sale for a couple $100,000, and they're a commercial seller that one day of the year. They're the people who are causing problems for the people who really and truly need and can use medical marijuana.
Terrifying, to be told as a parent that your child does have a tumor in her brain. 24 hours in the operating room, they gave us a 10% chance of survival with treatment.
At the Oakland Children's Hospital, where they called me and they said they had a baby who they were discharging home. This baby had completed all treatment that would be useful for it, had brain tumor, had surgery, had radiation and chemo, and the tumors were still growing and still multiplying. And therefore they said to the parents, just take this baby home and make it comfortable, because there's nothing more that we know that will help its condition.
Started to accept to the point where the illness had taken her and us, and try and find some acceptance.
A month went by and I got in contact with the family and they said, well, we just came back from Children's Hospital. They did a CAT scan. The tumors have shrunk and there are fewer of them. And they said, I'll tell you what we've been doing. We've been juicing the fan leaves of the marijuana plant and giving our baby a shot glass of this juice every day. But this is like this wonderful hospice story. She is no longer on hospice. I brought the oxygen concentrator back. it's just one of those wonderful success stories. This, the plant is a pretty amazing plant because it appears that the juice of this plant is saving this baby's life.
Here we have something that can really change people's lives. I mean, I was laying in bed, catheterized, thinking that physicians were just trying to make me comfortable. They really didn't think that there was anything more that they could do, and that I may not live to be 30, which I am now. That was the best I could hope for. The best I could hope for was taking enough methadone and Percocet every day that I just didn't feel anything at all.
I've gotten in touch with Dr. Courtney because we had received a doctor's recommendation from one of his patients, and in it asked that they start juicing the leaves and having capsules and a few other items which I didn't know anything about. So after I contacted him, I was really excited to hear that there might be some other alternatives to the smoking of the cannabis.
These are friends we've had in the past year. They said, your father's not the same as he was when we first met him, and he seems to be much more alive and much, doing a lot more and more active. I had informed them it was because of the juice that he had been taking. Right after we started juicing, that he seemed to be more active. We would do things out in the garage more, and he wouldn't spend so much time in his chair. We have ran out periodically in the last year and a half, and that's what made me convinced that he needed it, because when he would run out, he would have trouble getting out of the car.
I had 4 doctors tell me that I should have a hysterectomy.
You either have no ovaries, or at the very least you're sterile.
That my endometriosis was so bad I would never be able to have a child.
Despite very potent birth control, despite being sterile, Zahaya decided she was going to come join the party.
Kid. Cheap and date.
Distinguish ourselves by being extremely scientific. And people know that if they're going to come to us, they're going to have to go through a lot of hoops, but they're also going to get the most up-to-date scientific knowledge on this subject. And they're going to see a physician who's an expert in the field of non-psychoactive cannabinoids. And there are plenty of people that want that and are looking for that. We opened our 5th office in Luxembourg. Their government is really sympathetic and open.
There's an international group studying autism and CBD in Luxembourg.
There's a physician there who's writing cannabis scripts, who's also a senator. And we've been working with him, Senator Combera. The government may be actually funding experiments in a research center using cannabis, in large part because of Dr. Courtney's work with non-psychoactive cannabinoids and Senator Combera's work with cancer patients.
There are now facilities for testing of plants, and there's been more progress made in the last 5 to 6 months. A new strain came from Spain called Canatonic, 6.9% CBD. That's a 700% increase over Northern Lights, which is our previous high producer. I would like to find strains that have all of the cannabinoids present in an amount that's useful. I'd like to produce strains that are adapted to environment. In Luxembourg, we're producing thousands and thousands and thousands of seed, to raise the money to give away, a half a pound of seed, because if that person grows an acre of cannabis and feeds her family the protein descent and the fatty acids, and an incredible food source, an incredible preventative medicine source, and an incredible therapeutic source, and at the same time, they're sucking 5 times as much CO2 out of the environment as an acre of trees. First, we have to change Convention Treaty Number 1, which was the convention that the UN put out in 1961 that says cannabis is a crime, should be, if you have it, if you grow it, if there's any possession, you should be in prison. That dogma has dominated the world. Right now, they're asking for input from the World Health Organization, and in the process of writing a letter stating that. And this is a dietary essential, it's not a criminal thing, because we had to change that treaty before we could go into Central and South America and say, you grow yourself an acre of this plant, feed your family, prevent illnesses. So Cannabis International kind of legalizing the plant globally, giving it back to people as a food source, prevent illness. is so much better than waiting until you have diseases.
With my own experience, in all the patients that I've spoken to, I believe that it's not an isolated incident, but this is the best medication.
All right, people.
All right, JD, you still on the phone?
Yeah. Look on their website. What was that? Cannabis. What?
I do not know. All I know is the name of the video is called Healing Leaf, film about raw cannabis juicing. It's 15 minutes long. But, yeah. So what do you think about that, dog? What the hell's that beep?
I'm about that raw organic shit, so.
Hey, you hear that fucking noise? Yo, you hear that noise?
Yeah.
I have no idea, dog. Hey, it's way too loud. Hey, call us back. Alright. That's a weird fucking noise. I never heard that shit before. Alright, people, so yeah, I mean, that was a good video, dog.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been on that organic raw shit, dog, and you know what, it makes a difference, you know what I mean? Because like they were talking about, if you just eat a brownie, you get 10 milligrams. If you juice it, eat it raw, then bam. You know what I'm saying? Just like Dr. Sebi was talking about in my other article in a previous podcast, you know, you gotta eat things raw to get their medicinal use, because when you cook anything down, it's just not the same.
Well, I was also always a fan of eating the fucking marijuana. You remember, man, I always had like edibles on me all the time.
Oh yeah, I love edibles, for sure.
You know, and
you know what? I've only had one wheatgrass shot in my entire life, and it was pretty damn good. I wish I could have one every day.
Yo.
Hey,
yo. Yeah, there's still that noise, dog. Say that again? Alright, wait, say that. And now you sound cool. I don't hear it.
The noise?
Yeah, I don't hear that noise.
Yeah, it stopped now.
Alright, well, I don't hear it no more either.
Yeah.
Alright, so what do you think about eating raw cannabis juice?
Like drinking it, like drinking it or fucking eating it as far as like being in brownies. What do you think? What are your thoughts about that, dog?
Well, I had to watch the hard.
Alright, but just FYI, when you eat it in a brownie, you only get 10 milligrams of the good shit. But if you eat the plant raw, then you get up to 600 milligrams of the non-active cannabinoids, non-psychoactive cannabinoids. Sorry.
So how do you get it?
No, you get 600 milligrams. That's about as much as you can get if you're consuming one plant at a time. And most patients consume more than one plant when they juice. You know what I'm saying? Or as the video showed. I actually want to try that because I have some family members or some close friends of mine, and you know they're ill, and I think this could be something that could benefit them. But for them, they're closed-minded, and you know what I'm saying. They were born in a different generation, and you know what I mean.
Well, let's get down to this. All right, coming from John, if you can get a little closer to the phone because this is a good question that I'm gonna have to ask you, dog. All right. Alright. Expert-wise, because John David, dog, he baked all the time with cannabis, dog. He even made pancakes with cannabis. This dude knows how to make his shit. And perspective-wise, John, what were your feelings? Did you feel like you were high or having a psychoactive trip when you ate it, or Was it like a different type of feeling from when smoking it? Like a different type of high?
Well, some people say that people in the street, different, it's like that. The butter.